Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Elk Grove High School for Friday night indoor lights. It's the Elk Grove Grenadiers against the visiting Buffalo Grove Bison. And in attendance tonight, my color commentator, a basketball coach for many years, Coach Dave Adelman from Play Art Hoops. How you doing tonight, Dave?
Doing great, Kyle. Glad to be here. Excited to watch these two girls teams go at it.
Should be a good one, as Buffalo Grove wasn't defeated in conference, but they lost to Hershey, so they need this win to continue to be in first place as we get closer to the Mid-Suburban Championship game.
Yeah, and you never know when you go on the road. Elk Grove played this team very tough at Buffalo Grove. They were winning for much of the game. Fourth quarter, Buffalo Grove made a huge run and came out on top, but I expect Elk Grove to come out really ready to go.
This is a Buffalo Grove team that has two really good players. Both of them will be playing college. Now, for Megan Fontanetta, she'll be playing softball at Illinois Wesleyan, but Kendra Lee, she has scored over 1,000 points in her high school career. Dave, how do you do that?
A motivated player. She said that was a goal of hers actually as a freshman. So this is a motivated player. Obviously, when you're a senior, you're really motivated to finish your career on a great note.
Megan Murray has also scored over 1,000 points, so this should be a really interesting matchup in terms of toe-for-toe going at it at the guard position. Now, Elk Grove, they're under 500 in the Mid-Suburban at 3-5. Buffalo Grove 7-1, but both teams are pretty similar in non-conference play, as Elk Grove is 14-9, Buffalo Grove 15-10. So it should be a pretty close matchup, you would think.
These are two good teams. Obviously, the league is a very good league. Hershey's a very good team that's tied with Buffalo Grove for first place, so I do expect this game to really come to the end.
Both teams also have impressive freshmen. For Elk Grove, Julia Maznika, just a freshman guard at 5'6". She'll probably get some minutes tonight. And then Cora Kipley, who had 9 points in that victory over Prospect. So it should be a good one, happening in about 30 seconds from now. Now, you talked to head coach of Buffalo Grove, Steve College, before the game, Dave, and he was talking about how they're going to go with a 2-3 zone tonight.
Well, I'm not sure if that's what they'll start out in, but they definitely play some 2-3 zone, and we'll change defenses. Both teams will change defenses through the game.
Tip-off was won by Elk Grove, but quickly stolen away by the Bison, driving in, and looks like it will be a foul and one. That's a good way to start the game, Dave. 8 seconds into play, we already have a basket.
That was an aggressive drive and a great finish to get the game started for Buffalo Grove.
That basket good by Macy Floro. Combo guard, plays both shooting guard and point.
Looks like they called it on the floor.
Ooh, I don't know, Dave. Do you think that should have been a three-point play?
That should have been a three-point play, most likely.
Now, you were saying that you know one of the officials. Talk a little bit about that.
He's worked for me. He's a good official. I expect this to be an experienced, good officiating crew. Right there, it looked like she was fouled on the shot, but they've called it on the floor, so we're still tied to 0.
Never mind, but I thought that it was going to be a three-point play. This time, Floro tries to make it from 3, no good. And it was last touch by the Bison. It'll be Grenadiers basketball. What did you see on that first possession there?
That's a tough situation. You feel like you got fouled and had a three-point play, and then you get the ball right back with a deeper shot, and just was a little bit long. Not easy right off the jump, taking one pass and a shot.
The Grenadiers trying to get closer to the 500 mark in MSL play. 3-5 coming in, 14-9 overall on the season. Meanwhile, Buffalo Grove has been fantastic in the MSL, but in non-conference play, not so much. Under 500 away from the MSL. Almost stolen away, driving in, fouled on the play. This time, it was in the act of shooting. Now, this time, did they get the call right?
Yes, they got the call right. She got hit on the arm as she went to the basket. Buffalo Grove is in that 2-3 zone. Starting out the game pretty passive, trying to pack in a little bit. So we'll see if their zone becomes a little more aggressive, as I know Buffalo Grove wants to be an up-tempo team and be aggressive on the offensive end.
Olivia Maznika at the line, trying to get the second of her 2 free throw attempts. She's a junior guard, standing at an even 5'5". Misses both. Great job boxing out. Didn't get the friendly roll off the glass, and it's rebounded by the Bison. Attacking, trying to go coast to coast. Almost stolen away. Gets it back. Trying to post up, and it was touched by Alyssa Trausch, the junior forward at 5'10". Elk Grove, they're sneaky on defense, aren't they, Coach Dave?
Yeah, right there, Buffalo Grove, again, they're working pretty quickly here, trying to play up tempo. So we'll see as the game goes down if they're able to wear Elk Grove down with the speed with which they play.
The mid-range J, nothing but net for Kendra Lee. What else can you expect from the player who plays 3 positions on the floor?
So Elk Grove is playing zone out of the out-of-bounds play right there, and they've given up 2 open shots on out-of-bounds plays.
So it looks like Buffalo Grove getting the ball in quickly and trying to catch the Grenadiers off guard. That time it was last touch by Zornitsa Angelova. She's a senior on this team, plays both power forward and center. Good inbounds play, and Elk Grove, a baseball pass, and a little bit too much on that fastball. Not ready was the Grenadiers. That time was number 32, Tazvi Patel.
Both teams go zone out of bounds, and so right now Buffalo Grove's been able to execute out of that zone out of bounds play. Elk Grove was unable to do it right there.
So, Dave, I've always wanted to know this. What's the difference between 2-3 and 1-3-1?
Well, 2-3 has 2 players at the top, and the 1-3-1 has 1 player at the top of the zone with 3 behind. It's just a more spread out zone, a more aggressive zone. The 1-3-1 is generally a much more aggressive zone, while the 2-3 zone is generally really trying to force that outside jump shot.
And obviously, if you're playing the Warriors, you probably don't want to play that type of zone because that's what they're known for.
Sometimes matching up a team that likes to shoot the ball, a zone can work really well against a team that likes to shoot the ball because you can match up with them if they don't have much movement.
And we'll talk about that the next possession. If that's what's the problem with the Houston Rockets this season, is that's a team that likes to shoot a lot of threes. Meanwhile, Buffalo Grove still has the basketball. Driving in now is Fontanetta. Kicks it out to the right wing side. Dribble drive penetration. The Kareem type of hook doesn't fall and rebounded by the Grenadiers. The Grenadiers look good on defense, but on offense they kind of look out of sorts.
Number 24, Ingebrigtsen is big in there, and I think Buffalo Grove's having a little trouble navigating that size on the back of the defense.
Ingebrigtsen, a big gal standing at 6 foot. This time she tries to post up, kicks it back out to the 3-point line. A long arching 3, no good. And over the back called against the Bison.
So right there, a nice job there by Elk Grove. As we were talking about earlier, what Elk Grove is going to do is they're going to look into Ingebrigtsen inside, collapse the zone, and look for kickouts for shots. The one thing Buffalo Grove has not done a good job early on here, they have not really rebounded well. So if Elk Grove can continue to get shots up, maybe that's an area where they could really dominate this game is on the rebounds.
Alyssa Ramos checking in for the Bison.
A lot of conferences early from the referees.
Yeah, maybe they're talking about what they're going to have for dinner after the game.
They sat together before the game, so hopefully they got all that out of the way.
Because especially if it goes into OT, it's after the dinner hour. So, but all jokes aside, the officials do a really good job at the IHSA level. And of all the sports, Dave, and in your experience coaching, I think basketball officiating is by far the hardest of the 4 major sports.
Yes, and the large part of that is there's so much of the game that's subjective. Fouls, many of the foul calls are subjective. One referee may say, hey, that's enough contact to call a foul. Another referee may say, I don't think that's enough contact. On box-out plays consistently through the game, what's a foul, what's over the back, what's not. There's just a lot of subjective calls in basketball that make it tough to officiate.
Now, is basketball similar to baseball where if you call a foul in the first quarter, you have to call it a foul in the fourth quarter? Same thing with the strike zone. A strike in the first inning is still a strike in the 9th inning?
That can vary. Referees at times you have to adjust a little bit to the style of the game. So early in the game, the referees may let a little bit more go and then say, we got to probably tighten up here in the second half. You don't want players to get into too much foul trouble early in the game. So I think sometimes it's a good idea for referees to be a little lighter on calls rather than calling so much early so that you might get players in foul trouble too quickly.
Yeah, that's a good point, and something I've never really thought about because you want to be consistent, but you also don't want best players going to the bench because they've been fouled out.
Absolutely. Elk Grove ran a much better out-of-bounds play there. That's the second time Floro's going that direction. She's showing a really nice drive to the left-hand side.
So right now we have a defensive battle tonight. This in transition, high arcing shot and doesn't fall, gets her own board. And jump ball, possession arrow towards Buffalo Grove.
Again, Ingebrigtsen has really been tough in there on the boards. Just both teams just struggling to finish right now, but there's been some good offensive plays here, and I think the size on both teams is affecting the shots.
Elk Grove at home. Only a couple more games, and then we'll go into the IHSA Regionals. So the MSL Championship in a couple weeks from now. That time, beautiful post-up move. Kind of looks like the girls' version of LaMarcus Aldridge on that move.
Well, obviously it's 4-0, and who's got the 4 points? The best player on the court, Kendra Lee. And that's what it comes down to sometimes, having that player that can finish the shots.
4 points no longer. That time, Ingebrigtsen from almost from downtown, just in front of the 3-point line. It's now 4-2.
They're able to attack that zone with her high post, her at the high post. Here's Floro again to the left. No, she got the foul call there.
It seemed like that basketball was never going to fall down. It just stood in midair for 3 seconds.
They got to do a better job right now, Elk Grove. She's 3 times. They didn't call that on the floor, did they?
No, they didn't.
They called this on the floor as well. It's an interesting call. But she's 3 times now been able to really penetrate to the left. Elk Grove's got to do a better job there. Here we are with that zone out of bounds, and they just give up wide open shots out of it. So they're fortunate they've missed 2 of the 3 shots, but they certainly are getting a wide open shot out of that zone out of bounds play.
Another unfriendly bounce, that time from the back iron, and Buffalo Grove attacking. Onto the right hand, driving in, double team, breaks through it, and once again, Kendra Lee, the gal who has over 1,000 points in her high school career, getting it done. She's got all 6 of the Bison's points.
That's the difference in the game right now. There's one great finisher on the court, and I think both teams are getting pretty decent shots, but one great finisher is making the difference.
Should they double team Kendra or way too early for that?
Nothing's really been in a situation to double team. Most of her baskets have not come in a half court situation. They've come out of bounds play or a transition play. So, obviously they will double team her probably. Like right now, they just double teamed her and they swung the ball across to 13. That's why she got the open shot.
Barely hits rim and rebounded by the Grenadiers. Fakes the 3-point shot. Now back out to the right wing. Inside the painted area. Shot, nothing but net. That time it's good by double 4s, Alyssa Troush.
That free throw line jump shot is there pretty much whenever they want right now. So Buffalo Grove's going to have to adjust to that a little bit within their defense.
Driving in. The officials say she got a little bit of the wrist. Dave, what do you think? I thought it was all ball.
I'm not sure where he's calling the foul because I think he's calling it on the ground. So I think he's calling a block on the ground again. I'm not sure which person he's giving the foul to. He's giving the foul to somebody. It is on Ingebrigtsen. If it's on her, then it had to be a shooting foul. But right now, Elk Grove zone is very spread out. They really don't get out on the shooters. I mean, Buffalo Grove is going to get whatever shot they want. It's just a matter of how they're going to make it.
So I know I teased it. You talked about zone defenses and allowing teams that like to shoot the 3 into that 1-3-1 zone for jump shooters. Is that the reason why the Houston Rockets are having problems? Because teams are playing zone and begging James Harden and Russell Westbrook to shoot 3s?
Well, what you're able to do if a team just wants to shoot the ball, what you can do in the zone is you can match up on the perimeter with the shooters. And if they don't threaten you inside, it becomes very easy to do that. So when the zone is very effective is when you're able to threaten the ball on the inside, which then collapses the defense for the open shots on the outside. Or if a team is worried about the shooting, it gives room for the inside to move. And you saw that with Ingebrigtsen. Like I said, Elk Grove's been able to get some shots at the high post. And so they're running their zone offense a little different than Buffalo Grove, which is a little more spread out.
Cora Kipley driving in. Both freshmen are on the floor now. For Buffalo Grove, it's Kipley, and for Elk Grove, Julia Maznika onto the floor, and going to the line will be Cora Kipley.
We finally got a shooting foul.
It's not just high school, Dave. You'll see a lot of Division I college games where it should be a shooting foul, and they call it on the floor.
Yeah, that's one area where the NBA, the game is really officiated a little bit different, and I think in a lot of ways better. They reward the offensive player for creating a shot rather than defensive players for getting away with just little fouls that don't result in shooting for the team.
Substitution for Buffalo Grove into the game now is Leah McKenna, the sophomore power forward.
So now they're playing a little more aggressively here, Buffalo Grove, a little more aggressively on the perimeter. And without Inga Britson right now, Elk Grove has gone away from attacking the high post. There she comes, the high post. That's where that hole in the defense is right now, is that high post situation.
Shot no good by Troush, but picks the pocket and gets the steal and the basket. Megan Murray. And what else do you expect from a gal that has over 1,000 points, just says Kendra Lee.
Well, that was a lazy play by Buffalo Grove, just lazy with the basketball. And Elk Grove has gone into that zone defense. Like I said, right now Buffalo Grove seems really content to either shoot the ball or drive the ball in. They don't really threaten the zone right now inside.
Jump ball and possession arrow towards the Grenadiers. We appreciate you watching today's broadcast. Kyle Smith alongside Coach Dave Edelman from Play Hard Hoops. 8-6 basketball game. Old school defense tonight. Bounce pass to the left wing. In no man's land, thought about the shot. Last second tried to pass it. And they're going to say it was last touched by the Grenadiers. Just went past the foot of a Buffalo Grove player. Otherwise, it would have been kick ball violation.
So it looks like Kipley here is setting up for, but see how far back Elk Grove is playing her here.
I would too. A freshman, I know that she has talent, but this is a big moment for a freshman to step up. I'll give her that shot all day long.
It looks like Buffalo Grove is going to hold for one shot in this situation.
You know, I don't know about that. I think I would try to play 2 for 1 and see if Elk Grove would force up something quick.
There is no 2 for 1. There is no shot clock. So
well,
Elk
I mean,
Grove
yeah,
would
but
just
you would
take it there too.
Sure, you would
looks
think
like
so.
They're going to shoot a little bit earlier. Floro decided to take it a little earlier. I'm not exactly sure that's what the coach wanted, but she feels confident going to the basket.
Yeah, and by 2 for 1, even without a shot clock, sometimes a high school team will force up something and not wait till the last shot. But that time, Elk Grove, professional possession and wait till the last shot. It was just a tough one, and a fadeaway J goes for naught. And that ends the first quarter. We'll be back in 60 seconds. You're watching the EGTV Game of the Week here on EGTV Sports.
So right now, Buffalo Grove is like
Back to the action here at Elk Grove High School. Grenadiers against the Bison. And only a 2-point lead for the Bison. Some controversial no calls where the Bison could have gone to the line to increase their lead. And because of that, Elk Grove only down by 2, even though they're not shooting the basketball that well.
So they're in a different zone now. They're in a 1-2-2 zone. This is a 1-2-2, and they trap in the corner. So a little bit different zone, and you see this against that zone, Buffalo Grove decided to attack inside. So this is where, there's adjustments going on now. I feel like Elk Grove didn't play with a ton of confidence there in that first quarter, but I'm interested to see with them, the longer they're in the game, if they get more and more confidence that they could beat this team.
10-6 the score. Bison with it. A 3 would give them their biggest lead of the night. Kendra Lee leading all scorers with 6. When she's hot, she's red hot.
So they're back to a man-to-man defense now.
Kendra Lee going to be playing Division III basketball at Lindenwood.
Then
And that shot no good. Air ball, and it's rebounded by Elk Grove. Alexa Joshi boxes out well, gets the board, and now with it is Megan Murray. Bounce pass out to the right wing side, and a blocking foul by the Bison. Third team foul against the Bison. Second personal of the freshman Cora Kipley. That three, nothing but net. Put 3 more points on the Jumbotron. Megan Murray now with 5.
So let's see, they're back to a zone. They're back to a zone defense for the most part here. Back into this kind of a matchup 1-2-2 zone. And they're just not, it's not a great zone right now. Right there again, Floro's been able to drive for most of the game, but Elk Grove doesn't look confident in that zone at the moment.
Only trail by 3. Megan Murray with a steal and a basket and a 3, leading the Grenadiers with 5. Has the open look. Dave, I think that's the time you just got to pull the trigger.
Well, Buffalo Grove went to man-to-man defense here, so it's the first time that they've run a play, and so sometimes you need to hold the ball a little bit just to get yourself comfortable against a new defense. And now they got themselves a good shot.
Good dribble drive penetration off the side of the rim, rebounded by the Bison. They're looking to push. Floro pushing. One woman to beat. Did not set her feet, blocking foul, and now that's the 5th team foul against the Grenadiers.
Those are the tough calls that you're talking about in a basketball game. Right there at live speed, that call could go either way. You have the replay, and you're like, oh, that's definitely a charge, or that's definitely a block. But at full speed, sitting right here, it's a tough call.
Now imagine doing that at the NBA level where you got LeBron going at Andre Drummond. Good luck making that call.
It's very tough. It's very tough. Floro is really an aggressive, athletic player. Really impressed with her ability to get to the basket and and the aggressiveness with which she plays.
She's a combo guard, both point guard and the shooting guard. Who do you think is the best combo guard in the NBA?
Best combo guard in the NBA?
You could go Spencer Dinwiddie. You could go because like Kyrie Irving, those kind of, even though they're great shooters, they're more point guards than shooting guards. So just a pure combo guard. I guess you could even say D'Angelo Russell is a combo guard. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, some people can say Stephen Curry's a combo guard because he's a shooter as well. So, Spencer Dinwiddie would be a good choice. I'd have to really think about that. I haven't really thought about it as a combo guard. See, their Buffalo Grove against the zone does get the ball inside to Kendra Lee, and that allows Buffalo Grove to get that shot. So it starts with Kendra Lee getting the ball inside, sucking the defense in, and then the reversal of the ball allows for the open shot on the wing. And both teams are starting now to play with a little more confidence on the offensive end.
That's now 7 points for Macy Floro. Timeout called by Coach
Buxton.
Jennifer Buxton of the Bison. So we'll stick with the action here. A 15-11 score in favor of the Bison. I know Elk Grove hasn't shot the basketball well, Dave, but they've forced the Bison into drives, and they've gotten the benefit of the no calls by the officials, and because of that, they only trail by 4. Should they continue with that mindset, or eventually they're going to be 3-point plays and not fouls called on the floor as out-of-bounds plays?
Yeah, I think, overall, they're just going to have to, within their defenses right now, they're going to have to I think they're trying to figure out what defense is going to work best. That's what it looks like to me, is they're trying to figure it out. Is the 1-2-2 defense going to work? Is the 2-3 going to work? Is man-to-man? So they're a little bit in a feeling-out process to see what's going to work rather than having true confidence in one of their defenses. Buffalo Grove wants to play that 2-3 zone as much as possible. That's obviously their primary defense. They did switch to a man-to-man to try and change things up. But the big area of the game is Elk Grove defensively going to find what's going to work for them.
So I apologize. Megan Murray with 7, Kendra Lee with 6. So now Megan Murray leads all scorers, almost stolen away. Luckily got the basketball back. Threw that basketball into a contested area, but luckily it was last touched by the Bison. It'll remain with the Grenadiers.
Obviously losing Inga Britzen really hurts as well, because I think her size in the back end of their zone makes a big difference, and that's a huge reason why I think Elk Grove is not as good defensively now as they were early in the game. I'm assuming that she has 2 fouls, since we don't get the stats here right now, but and she's not been back in for a while. But I think she could make a huge impact in this game.
So a close basketball game tonight. Kendra Lee with 6. She shot the basketball well. She's had good spacing on the floor and posting up well, but Megan Murray has been there up to the challenge with 7 for the Grenadiers, and if they can get a stop here in a 3, they only trail by 1.
So Elk Grove is back into that man-to-man now, and Buffalo Grove showing some good patience, but not really. They're running basically a 5-out motion here with some cutting across and trying to eventually be able to penetrate into the gaps of this man-to-man defense.
Driving in is the Bison, and Steve College calls timeout.
Yeah, they just looked like they were struggling to figure out exactly what they want to do against the man. That's the one benefit of playing these different defenses, both teams in doing that, is that when you switch the defenses, sometimes the offenses struggle to adjust to the switching of the D, and that's why College called timeout here to really talk about what they want to do against the man.
So right now the Grenadiers with 5 fouls, just 3 by the guest, the Buffalo Grove Bison. And you think that gets into your head a little bit when you were undefeated in conference play and then you get blown out by Hersey, 60-42 defeat in that one? Or is it just business as usual? You're still in first place now. You're tied with Hersey. You just try to take care of business and move to 8-1 in conference play.
At this time of year, there's more pressure obviously on the teams. There's more pressure on the teams that are playing for championships. So that you may have a little bit. I don't think that they're affected by getting blown out, but they may feel some pressure just of the importance of every game right now, trying to win the conference.
Good pass inside. One dribble, throws it up. And an even better contest. And who else? Kendra Lee. She also plays great D. That was last touch by the Bison.
That's the second sloppy turnover they've had off of getting a rebound. You just don't want to lose possessions, obviously.
So, Dave, if you're in that spot and you don't know what to do with the basketball, is it okay to burn a timeout to make sure you don't turn the ball over?
No, she shouldn't burn a time. They just burned a timeout right there. You got to let them play. You don't want to burn your timeouts like that off of one potential bad play.
That shot, no good. Rebounded by the Bison. Cora Kipley not doing a lot in terms of scoring, but everything else, assists and rebounds. She's doing a great job. She's still got 3 more years of eligibility at the high school level. Driving in with the left hand, and it goes.
So they had a set play, so the timeout was good. College Day took a timeout. They got a decent look, got the ball into Kendra Lee off of an out-of-bounds play, and right there they set a high ball screen at the top, and Kipley was able to take it to the basket. So good job by College Day, good timeout. Used that well to get his team organized offensively against the man defense.
Murray out to Maznika. Almost turned the ball over. Beautiful move by Murray. The shot, yes, ring it up. 9 points now for Megan Murray.
Nice play by Murray right there. Good patience with the basketball. She plays with good pace.
3-point shot by Lee. Air ball, but there to get the rebound is Floro. Almost lost it, got it back. Stolen away by the Grenadiers. They're looking to push. Mid-range J in transition. Can't get the friendly roll. Rebounded by the Bison. Kendra Lee has a breakaway, does Floro. Throws it up. Fouled from behind. Great job by Maznika, not giving her the layup and making her earn it at the charity stripe.
Even better was the swan dive that Floro made right there on the ground, man. She knows how to fall. She's obviously fallen a lot. that looked really cool. I hope somebody got it. That would go viral. Would look really cool, like a Javi Baez slide.
Well, we got 3 cameras tonight, so I'm sure somebody got it, I would hope. Our camera crew does a great job at Elk Grove Television with Beth Clem on director duties along with Scott Mayernick. 18-13 in favor of the Bison. They're hanging in there, but besides Murray, just nobody else on Elk Grove has stepped up to the plate on the offensive end.
Yeah, they haven't been able to hit shots. They've gotten some good shots. Number 44 has gotten some good shots. Alyssa Troush just hasn't been able to convert yet. But they played. I really like the way Elk Grove has played. They just need to hang around right now, get that Ingrid Britson back in the game. And I think that this is going to be a really tough contest down the stretch.
That shot. And it was good by number 12, Lily Duckman.
Yeah, nice running play in the lane.
Stolen
right
away.
There, Floro's trying to do a little too much right there. A couple times now she's tried to do a little too much and has gotten 2 turnovers recently.
Stepping into the 3, Duckman can't make it. Trying to get the board was Gryzik, couldn't, and the Bison on the attack with 1:12 remaining. It seems like the Bison have had more possessions, but because...
Nice look, nice offensive movement right there. It's interesting, they really attack man-to-man inside, but they don't attack the zone inside with Kendra Lee as much as they do the man-to-man. That was a nice offensive set where they were able to get a clear out and get Kendra Lee at the basket.
Murray out to the three-point line. Back out to Murray. Out to the right wing, driving in. Circus shot, no, and it's rebounded by Lee. Lee with it on her left hand. She's got space and she attacks and can't get it to go. Last touch by the Bison. Looks like it was last touch by the freshman Kipley. And with 22.8, you assume the Grenadiers are going to hold for the last shot.
Yes, and that's a huge play right there because she puts that in. It's 22-15 and potentially get a stop, maybe even another score, and they could go into halftime with a nice lead. So right here, a basket by Elk Grove. That's a 4-point swing. Totally turned the game around.
Murray with the basketball. You assume they're going to get a screen for her and get the last shot. No call. Grenadiers still have it. Three-pointer with 5 seconds left. Off the backboard, no. 3 seconds, now 2. Heaves up a prayer at half court, and no good. As it goes off the top of the backboard, and that will do it going into halftime. So the Bison lead 20-15. We'll take a 5-minute break, and we'll be back. You're watching Elk Grove Grenadiers basketball here on EGTV Sports. Welcome back to Elk Grove High School as the second half is about to start. The Bison lead 20-15. Kyle Smith alongside Dave Edelman. And even though Elk Grove is down by 5 points, they still have Megan Murray. And if Megan Murray can continue to shoot the ball like she did in the first half, Elk Grove could pull off the upset.
There's no doubt. Megan Murray is a very good offensive player and helped keep them in this game. With Ingrid Britson being out with foul trouble, I thought she was really the key early in the game for Elk Grove. You could tell they were a little more confident team with her on the court. Her size really affects Buffalo Grove offensively, and she gives them a great presence against the zone that they lost when she went out of the game. So while we saw Elk Grove have some trouble scoring in the first half, I think Ingrid Britson could really make a big difference in that. It'll be interesting if this game gets down to the wire. The team that has a little more to play for right now, Buffalo Grove, if they get tight.
Inga Brixton with 2 fouls, as is Angelova with 2 for the Bison. Stolen away by Kipley. Kipley looking to go coast to coast, and she's got room, and at the last second, Megan Murray with a wonderful strip, and it was last touched by Angelova. Or actually, no, Angelova had the basketball. It was last touched by Kipley. What a play by Megan Murray, a good two-way player.
Yeah, great hustle by Megan Murray to come back and stop that from scoring. I think Kipley really just lost the ball in that situation, but Murray's hustle helped make the play. So it's interesting here, they're putting Ingrid Britson down on the box and letting 44 be the high post player. And in doing that, they've had 2 turnovers. So I'll be interested to see if they make that adjustment to put Ingrid Britson back into that high post.
That 3 well contested, and it bounces back to the three-point line. Shot by Kipley, no good, and it's rebounded. That time by Inga Brixton, and on the attack now is the Grenadiers.
So let's see what adjustments they make against the zone here. There's Inga Brixton at the high post. 44 is having a little trouble there.
Yeah, great defense by Floro. Shot no good. Floro boxes out well, and with the basketball on her right hand, switches to the left, kicking it out to the right wing side. Pump fake, bounce pass back to Floro. That shot from the left wing, no good, and it's rebounded by the Grenadiers. Good turnaround pass. That time the turnaround shot, no good, and rebounded by the Bison. Good idea, Dave, just couldn't finish.
Yeah, both teams right now playing a little faster. Fontanetta finally gets the team on the board here in the second half. The second half started kind of similar to what the first half looked like.
Megan Murray, who also has over 1,000 points in her career. The night she did it, she scored 23 in that game. That three, I guess the bank is open this late at night. Dave, she goes bank on it, and that's Lily Duckman for three.
Yeah, she's got a good little shot there. They're also, Fontanetta is staying with Megan Murray, which opens that high post up even a little bit more.
Floro can't answer, rebounded by Elk Grove, and even though the Bison have had more possessions, the Grenadiers could make it a one-possession game. Thrown away, tried to feed the 6-foot forward, 6-foot even forward in Inga Brixton, but couldn't get it to her, and it's now going to be Bison basketball.
Yeah, it's too bad they had her down the floor. They've had two situations down the floor they haven't been able to convert.
Now she's listed at 6'0". Dave, is she playing more center or power forward tonight?
She's a center right now. So here's that ball screen play against the man that they run. They did a much better job there. Like I said, Inga Britson's a good defensive player. Makes it much harder for Buffalo Grove to score when she's on the court.
She's listed as forward on the depth chart, but that might be a little bit Bill Belichick trying making people think she's a power forward. But no, she's mostly playing center tonight as that's turned over by the Bison.
You know, a similar situation. Fontanetta makes a nice drive in there, but Inga Britson's size affected her, and so she stepped out of bounds. So right here you see they've picked up the zone a little bit more where she's up high with the zone, and they're really worried about Murray right now. They're really worried about Murray. They need Inga Britson or somebody else to step up looking to be more aggressive on offense.
They might be worried about her day, but she's still making shots. It's now 11 for number 4.
Yep, great play by her. Great patience, got into the lane, was able to hit that little 15-foot shot.
Down by just 2 are the Grenadiers, looking for the upset on their home court. 3-point shot, and doesn't even hit rim. Nice touch by the Bison, and now a 3 would give Elk Grove their first lead of the night.
Well, like I said, I think Elk Grove, came out a little tentative, a little uncertain. Then they lost Inga Britson, which made it really challenging for them to get through that first half. But getting through that first half without her, you could tell Elk Grove right now feels way more confident. They're more aggressive, and they feel like they're in this thing now.
Substitution for the Bison. Sturkey onto the court. Baseball pass. That time it's good, as Elk Grove tried to do that earlier in the game, and it went out of bounds. That shot doesn't hit rim, and almost stole it from behind. But luckily, keeping her dribble was Reagan Little. Driving in are the Bison, trying to kick it back out, and they do at the top of the key to Kipley. Almost lost it, got it back. Double teamed is Kipley. Gets it out to Floro. Driving in, the runner, it's good.
Yeah, their zone is a lot more aggressive right now. Elk Grove zone's a lot more aggressive right now. But the one player on Buffalo Grove that does a great job attacking when that happens is Floro, and she was able to kind of get the ball in the right position to score.
So who do you go to down the stretch, assuming this game continues to be a 4-point, 5-point lead by Buffalo Grove? Do you go to Kendra Lee or do you go to Macy Floro?
Well, I don't think that they're situated where they're just going to go to one person. If they're playing against man-to-man, they're definitely going to run plays for Kendra. That's going to be their main go-to play. But when the ball's kicked out or breaks down, Floro's that other player. Floro and Kipley, both of them are very aggressive with the basketball. I'll be interested to see Fontanetta's got a lot of experience. So down the stretch, I'd be interested to see if Fontanetta's more aggressive as well.
Megan Fontanetta, who became the starting point guard midway through her junior season last year. But because of the arrival of talented freshman point guard Cora Kipley, Fontanetta has done more two-guard for most of her tenure on the court during her senior year.
The intensity of this game has really picked up, which has been great. I'm excited because these girls are really going at each other now. Way more intensity than we saw in the first half. Passes are being contested consistently.
Double team out to Troush. Troush has not dribbled yet, now starts it. Back out to behind the three-point line. Megan Murray inside. Beautiful pass by Murray, but can't finish by Inga Brixton. And great defense by Sturkey. Out of bounds, and it goes towards the Bison.
Yeah, that was another really nice feed. They got the ball inside of Inga Britson. She's really the key. I think if they're going to win this game, Inga Britson is going to affect the game offensively as much as she's affected it defensively.
Driving in is Little.
So they're back to the man-to-man defense here.
Cora Kipley with the basketball. Murray on the steal attempt. Back and forth all night long. Megan Murray on both sides of the floor doing it well. Out of bounds. Last touch by the Grenadiers. No shot clock.
Such a different second half from an intensity standpoint. The first half, very few passes were contested, very few dribbles were contested, but right now almost every pass is contested, every dribble. Totally different situation, forcing the offense to play much faster on both ends.
Once again, the Bison get the basketball back due to great boxing out for the offensive boards, and that time connecting is Reagan Little. Sorry, Alyssa Ramos. There's two number 13s on the Max Preps roster.
That was a big shot. Big shot. Get that lead back up to 6 points. You could tell when the score got down to 2 that Elk Grove was really feeling good.
That time Murray can't connect, and driving in are the Bison. Off the backboard, no good. Rebounded by Troush and out to Murray. Murray, the leading scorer for both teams. That three. Can't get the friendly roll. And pushing her from behind was Alyssa Ramos. First team foul for the Bison. Well, Murray's their go-to scorer, but you think the Bison are eventually going to use a double team.
Well, they definitely came out. That's why you're seeing a lot of these open shots at the wing, because they're very worried about Murray at the top. And so that's why you're seeing those shots from the wing by Elk Grove. And, you know, they got to get one or two of those to fall.
Three-pointer no off the side of the iron. And last touch by the Grenadiers. That time, last one to touch it, 23, Hannah Greisick.
So it's important here for Elk Grove not to lose composure. You can tell that they're a little frustrated that they got it to 2 points and then the lead goes back out. And you can tell there's a little frustration in them right now. They need to just settle back in, play the way they've been playing, and hopefully some of those shots will go down. So right there, Megan Murray didn't box out. You know, I'm very impressed with Kendra Lee's ability to do a lot of things on the floor. One area of the game that I haven't seen her do, though, is really demand the ball from her teammates. So it'll be interesting to see in the fourth quarter if she'll be a little more aggressive, a little more assertive in demanding the basketball.
And that's what you want her to get into the habit of doing, because when you go from high school to the Division III level, eventually you're going to have to start demanding the ball more, because it goes from a recreational activity to for profit when you play college basketball.
Yeah, well, this isn't recreational. They're playing varsity high school basketball.
Well, you know what I mean, because there's money coming into the school to play student athlete, Division III, Division II, Division I athlete.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the type of where she's at in the team. You know, if she's playing in college next year, you know, she may be the third, fourth, fifth option on the team. You know, might be coming off the bench. Right now, you know, she's invested to try and help Buffalo Grove get as far as possible in the state tournament. And obviously, she's a great player, and her team is going to need her to not just be out there on the court. They're going to need her to be a dominant type player. And so I think, you know, she's done a great job. She's utilizing her teammates. She's taking advantage of open opportunities. But you can also tell that she's not being quite as assertive or aggressive at times. And I would expect in the fourth quarter, if this game is close, that Kendra is going to get much more assertive.
So Megan Fontanetta for the Bison has had a pretty quiet day on the offensive end. Her father, Augie Fontanetta, is the athletic director at New Trier. And this is a really interesting Buffalo Grove team. 5 seniors, but also 5 sophomores and a freshman. You think that lack of experience would hurt them down the stretch of regionals?
Well, they got 5 seniors, so those are the girls that they're going to be relying on. So, no, absolutely not. They'll be one of the more experienced teams most likely as they try to make the state championships.
That would be something if Buffalo Grove made it to the Elite Eight or more than that for the IHSA girls basketball tournament. Tied with Hersey for first place in the MSL East.
So this is Buffalo Grove has come out pressuring the basketball here. Totally different, full court pressing, really getting after them. They took advantage of the timeout that Elk Grove took a timeout to kind of settle their team down. And College, a great move by aggressively changing the defense and changing the situation for Elk Grove. So whatever they called out of the timeout, they're not really able to use.
Megan Murray with 11 points tonight.
And they're going to have to figure out how to get Megan some shots out of this right now. They're taking some quick shots here because, like I said, they're really staying with Megan, which is opening up for some of the other players. They're going to have to show a little more patience and see if they can get that ball back to Megan sometimes because right now she's really their main offensive threat. Great play by Murray right there. Very smart play.
Murray now with 13, and if I'm Buffalo Grove, I'm holding for the last shot. Worst case scenario, you're still up by 4 going into the fourth quarter. Driving in, they do not hold for the last shot. She did have an open lane, though, and just couldn't get it to go. Do you like that idea, or would you try to hold it for another 5 seconds?
You know, it's tough because they're picking up. They double team the ball. You have a wide open lane there. So, you know, the goal is to get a good shot, and, you know, she was right at the basket where she could have gotten fouled. So it just depends. Obviously, at certain times, you would want her to be more patient.
Traveling violation against the Bison. And something I've always thought about, Dave, in your experience of coaching, do teams sometimes give you that lane because they have so much confidence in their help defense to rotate quickly? Is that shot's no good?
You know, it's really more the teams are contested. The difference, like I said, from the second half to the first half is the teams are contesting plays a lot more. So when you contest plays, there's going to be more drives to the basket. There's going to be more openings for people to go. So in the first half, you didn't see much of that because the players were not really contesting. It was almost like a boxing match here where the first three to four rounds are just kind of like jabbing and moving around and seeing what each other is doing. And then they came out like in the fifth round here in the third quarter, like starting to swing. And so now we're into that fourth quarter. We're into that eighth, ninth round now. And now it comes down to, okay, which team has absorbed the punches and can lay the knockout punch or just to be solid and win the game.
If this game goes into OT, does that help out Buffalo Grove or Elk Grove?
You know, it's always an advantage for the home team in an overtime game. You know, generally the momentum favors the home team if you get into overtime. But, you know, Buffalo Grove is the stronger team, so that kind of takes that away. I think as we talked about at the beginning, that we thought this game would come down to the end, and it looks like it's going to be that way. This is a good Elk Grove team. They've got a really good dynamic player in Murray, and they have girls that play hard. They play very hard. They have a good sense of what they're trying to do. And like I said, Ingram Britson makes it really tough for offensive teams to score back there. There's your set play for Kendra Lee. And that's the big difference that they have. You know, and that's what I said, that they're going to get assertive. They're going to get assertive with her in this fourth quarter, I'm sure, and run a lot of plays for her. We'll see if Elk Grove is able to do something similar with Murray, find ways to get her open shots, because they're going to need her to get open shots.
Trouse trying to post up on the low block. Passes it back out to the three-point line. Murray steps into the three, can't get it to fall, and Trouse on the offensive board. I thought it went out of bounds. The green line is the out-of-bounds line, and the official was right there. Break for the Grenadiers. And all of a sudden, it got really quiet, Dave. You could hear a pin drop.
Yeah, well, this is the first time we've seen a real lot of patience here in the second half. You know, the game has been moving really quick. And then here, the game slowed down really because Elk Grove became pretty patient, because right now they know they need Murray to shoot the basketball. I think they know they need Megan to shoot, but they don't really have something to get her a shot against this zone. So I'm interested to see, do they have some sort of offensive set that can help get Megan open, which is what Buffalo Grove was able to do out of the beginning of the fourth quarter here.
Up by 7 are the Bison, tied for their biggest lead of the night. Bad pass. Floro steals it, and Flora will reset. Into their half-court set are the Bison. Kendra Lee leading the Bison in scoring tonight with 11. 13 for Murray on the other team.
They got a great matchup right now with Kendra Lee. She's got size on that number, and that really allowed for an open shot because they have to worry about her inside.
And now the biggest lead of the night for Buffalo Grove, now in double digits. It was 20-15 at halftime, 22-20. Yes, the Grenadiers only trailed by 2, but now they trail by 10. Great move, not traveling on the play by Inga Brixton.
Really good ball movement there by Elk Grove, but again, the ball doesn't end up as a shot for Murray, and that's kind of the big difference. That's a shot I'm sure Kendra Lee would love to get that shot again, because I'm sure she makes that shot 9 out of 10 times.
Beautiful move behind the back. Once again, Elk Grove going cold with their shooting in this fourth quarter. And the home crowd, who was really loud and rambunctious the first 3 quarters, has just been really quiet from the Elk Grove end.
I call it an offensive foul on the ball screen there. Not a lot of contact, but obviously felt that Angelova used her body to try and free the player up illegally there.
Timeout called by Jennifer Buxton. Now, according to Jennifer Buxton, when they played Rolling Meadows, she said that there would be up to a triple team on Megan Murray in that loss. She says Megan Murray is that good, she can beat triple teams. Now,
yeah, they're playing a zone defense, so they have eyes on her pretty much wherever she goes because of the zone defense. And they're familiar if she does cut through. They're familiar where she is. Coach Buxton needs to have something drawn up here that hopefully can maybe screen for her. I would look at something that could screen for her on the baseline, because I've only seen Megan Murray at the top of the zone. So I've seen some shots at the wings, trying to find something that gets Megan moving and maybe out of the sight of some of the Buffalo Grove players might free her up on the baseline for a shot. Because right now she's just not able really to get a shot up at the top. And here's that little trapping defense. That trapping defense again. Anytime that Elk Grove has called timeout, Buffalo Grove has done a really good job of switching up their defense to really take away whatever it is that they're calling.
Megan Fontanetta, who's had a quiet day offensively, the future softball player at Illinois Wesleyan. 5:06 on the game clock. Biggest lead of the night for the Bison, trying to make a 13-point lead if they can connect on a 3 kickball against the Grenadiers.
So similarly, talking to the assistant coach of Elk Grove, they said they weren't able to score in the fourth quarter when they played Buffalo Grove at their place, that they were leading actually going into the fourth quarter and then did not score. And they haven't scored yet in the fourth quarter here. So Buffalo Grove has a really good feel, understanding what to do defensively against this team.
And I was just going to say, surprisingly, just the first foul committed by Elk Grove in this half.
Yeah, there's been a lot of aggressive play. They've been more aggressive defensively. It is surprising that's their first foul. Referees have done a good job. Good job, I feel like, letting the girls play. So they're kind of back into that 1-2-2.
Now on the left wing side.
This is like your 1-2-2, 1-3-1 kind of matchup zone that they're running.
Fontanetta, a decent bounce pass, great ball movement, and it leads to an easy layup for number 20, Zornitsa Angelova.
Well, that's where we talked about earlier. What's the best thing to do against the zone is you got to threaten it inside. They threatened to the high post, and then that opened up the pass to Kendra for the layup. That was great execution by Buffalo Grove.
Out of bounds. It was last touched by Olivia Maznika. 34-22. Now what do you do if you're the Buffalo Grove Bison? Do you go for a quick shot, or do you try to run some clock here?
Well, you're going to run your off, especially if they're in zone, and you want to do something similar to what they just did previously, where they move the basketball, threaten the inside there. You see again at the high post, just right there. You can't make a bounce pass in that situation. You have to throw the ball high to a player.
Great handles by Murray, trying to get 15 on the night. That time can't connect. And now a full court press with Elk Grove as time is running out for them. Oh, great job by Fontanetta, not going out of bounds.
That was solid ball handling by Fontanetta there.
Once again, decent ball movement by the Bison, finding where the defense isn't. Now behind the three-point line. Kipley, the freshman, switches hands, and passes it out to Fontanetta. Fontanetta just 5'3", but because Kipley is such a great passer, they've moved Fontanetta to the 2 guard.
Buffalo Grove's kind of holding the ball, playing patiently, and Floro, she's not having it. She wants to go to that basket. Man, she's an aggressive, tough player.
And I think it might be time for Buxton to call another timeout as the offense for the Grenadiers just looks out of sorts right now.
Well, I think Coach College called timeout because he's gonna have a little conversation with Floro about, right now that's not really the play we're trying to make. They've got a 12-point lead. At this stage of the game, you either want to get yourself an open shot, force Elk Grove to foul, which they only have one foul. So the only thing about calling timeout there is you give Elk Grove an opportunity now to really talk defensive strategy, because on the last possession, Buffalo Grove was really able to hold the ball for a long time against the zone. So she's going to have to change up. Coach Buxton's going to have to change up a little bit here, be a little more aggressive with what they're doing. They're probably going to have to either come out in a man or some sort of trapping defense, because you can't just let Buffalo Grove handle the ball. So a game that I thought was going to be a pretty close game, just unfortunately Elk Grove was really not able to find a way offensively to get the ball either inside for baskets. Ingerbritton was unable to kind of get the ball inside, or on the perimeter they just weren't able to find open shots for Megan Murray.
34-22 the score right now. Kyle Smith alongside Dave Edelman, Scott Mayer, Nick, executive producer with Beth Clem tonight. They do a wonderful job here at EGTV Sports. 34-22 the score, and unless the Grenadiers can get a couple of quick steals with no shot clock, it looks like it's going to be a Bison victory tonight.
So here they're picking up in like a man-to-man pressure. And they get the turnover.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised by that. You're up by 12 points. The one thing you don't want to do is give the basketball back. And I know we talked about in the first half, you don't want to burn timeouts. But when you're up by 12 with 3 minutes to go, that would be a time you want to call timeout if you're in a bad spot like that?
Well, what happened was it's the second time that they've gone by somebody and then got picked from behind. So pretty good job by Elk Grove of playing possum. I'm not sure if it was Megan Murray for the second time doing that, but playing a little possum, letting the person go by so you can poke it from behind.
Down by 12, desperately need a 3. Driving in for the mid-range J, still can't get it to fall. And just Elk Grove, they've had their opportunities tonight, but they just can't connect with that mid-range J.
Yeah, that was a good drive by Lily Duckman. Just didn't finish.
2:22 on the clock. Floro driving in. This could be for the game. Can't get it to go, and Elk Grove still has some life, but they need a quick basket. And that's a good decision by the Bison. They have plenty of fouls to give, just their 4th team foul.
So let's see what they can do here on the out-of-bounds play. It's if they have a special play against the zone to get somebody a shot, they're just throwing it back. There's the screen on the opposite side.
Down by 12, it almost seems like at this point in the game you need to do catch-and-shoot type of plays. And that's what they wanted to do. One pass and a shot, and still can't get it to go.
Good hustle, though. Elk Grove played hard tonight. They played hard. They battled. They found their way into the game. There was a point in the game, it was 22-20, I believe. And you could tell Elk Grove felt a lot of momentum to go their way. Give Buffalo Grove credit. They're a good, sound defensive team, well coached, and did the things they needed to do to kind of get back control of the game.
Is there anything about this Buffalo Grove offense that a team from the MSL West could exploit if Buffalo Grove found themselves in the MSL championship game?
I think that, I think one thing Elk Grove has done well, they've switched defenses, so it's hard, being the first time I've seen them play, to get a feel for what their offense looks like. When they have run stuff against them in the man offense, they've done some really nice things with a ball screen play. They have very good out-of-bounds plays. I think they've had at least 3 or 4 opportunities to score on out-of-bounds plays. Even though Kendra didn't score on it, the fact that they were able to get the ball inside there led to getting a rebound and an easy and a foul shot here. So they do a nice job with that. I've seen them run a couple out of timeouts. They do a really nice job. Certainly zone that Elk Grove ran. was pretty effective because outside of Kendra Lee hitting one 3-point shot, I don't think Buffalo Grove's hit another 3-point shot, have they?
Yeah, I can't think of a three-pointer besides that one that Kendra Lee made early on in the fourth quarter to make it 29-22. No, they did make it 32-22. But other than that, yeah, most of their baskets have been driving in. And
Angelova hit a 3. So they hit back-to-back threes with Kendra Lee and then Angelova. Yeah. So obviously that would be something, if Buffalo Grove's not a great three-point shooting team, certainly that can be exposed as you play in big games.
This one pretty much over, down by 13, shot no good, and now it's time to just hold the ball and make sure not to turn it over. Double teaming on the sideline. Another double team trying to break through it, and does, luckily, because Kipley was there. And with the foul to give, Elk Grove will definitely do that to stop the clock. And Buffalo Grove, if they'd like, can put some of their bench warmers in.
No, they're going to play out to the end. They've played hard. You're not going to, take them off the court right here. You let the girls really finish up the game. They've played really hard. Throwing your bench in a 13-point game is not really what you want to do. If this game was over 2 minutes ago, then that would have been something you would have considered. Or she would have considered, I should say.
Oh, I meant Buffalo Grove up by 13. Because I said Buffalo Grove up by 13,
okay.
They could. Yeah. And Megan Murray giving the home crowd something to cheer about. Going to the line for the and one. We thought we were going to see those a lot in the first quarter, but those darn officials kept calling it on the floor. No, I'm just kidding. They do a great job. But
the officials done a really good job. They've let the girls play, allowed there to be a good flow for the game. Like I said, the first half and the second half were very different as far as how the two halves were played. One of the other advantages of getting a lead and then having to pressure a little bit more is Ingrid Britson comes off the floor. It takes away Elk Grove's rebounding. So that kind of helped to extend the lead, too, for Buffalo Grove.
Redwell, they need a quick shot, though. Murray double-teamed. And Buxton was able to get the timeout, 36.4.
There you go. You got your timeout when there's pressure and a turnover is about to happen. You finally got what you've been asking for all game.
Well, I just don't like turnovers that don't need to happen. But you do make a good point. Timeouts are so great to have because you just never know what the game's going to be like. With 30 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, that 10-point lead could become 2 points like we saw last night. I don't know if you watched that Nuggets-Jazz game where the game was out of hand and then Jordan Clarkson has 6 points in a row, and they're only down by 2, and Jokic has to come save the Nuggets in crunch time. So you just never know in a basketball game.
Yeah, I mean, you want to save your timeouts, and like I said, you have to recognize when possessions are absolutely vital, that you can't have turnovers, and that you recognize that, hey, we need to have the ball here. Also, if you have confidence in your out-of-bounds plays, a lot of times calling those timeouts gives you an opportunity to run an out-of-bounds play that you can get a specific shot that you like for a specific player. And that's what Buffalo Grove was able to do. Really, in the fourth quarter, the biggest play of the game was it's a 4-point game. They come out of the fourth quarter timeout, and they get a 3 to Kendra Lee on a nice called play.
So Megan Murray needs to get a quick shot, gives it to Inga Brixton. Did she travel? No, they said she was contacted before she traveled, so she'll go to the line for 2.
So that would have been one that I would have thought potentially could have been called on the floor because she got bumped. But the way the game should be called is when a player is close to the basket, you want to give them the opportunity to wait for the whole play through. And not benefit the defense that they get a foul just a half second before they get into their shot.
So things getting a little bit interesting. If she makes this one and they can get another steal, who knows? Have to foul, taking way too much time off the clock. And Kipley, it was last touched by Maznika. I was a little bit surprised by that, Dave. I would have tried to foul right away.
Yeah, they still have some fouls to give, so we'll see. I assume that they'll be looking for a foul. They've gotten steals, so I think that they're in part looking for those steals. But it looks like the coach has said not to really foul, just put the pressure on and try and get the ball.
Timeout called by College A.
So I think the coach chose in this situation, we're down by, when she called timeout, we're down by 10, down by 9 with 30 seconds. Let's see if we can get a steal. Let's pressure. But maybe we're not just out and out going to foul, especially when the fouls at this stage of the game, they're going to have to foul 3 times just to get someone into the bonus.
So who do you like in the NBA this year? Are you going to go with the LA teams, or are the Nuggets and Jazz starting to get some respect from you?
I think the Lakers and the Clippers are definitely the two best teams in the West. I think the Bucks are going to be very tough to beat if they can stay healthy. I think the Bucks will be very tough to beat for anybody.
Are you an Eric Bledsoe fan, or you think that eventually they're going to trade him?
I would assume that they're not going to look to trade him. You would have to really get a great player back for him. So I'm not sure who's trading a great player for Eric Bledsoe. I mean, is that something that Oklahoma City wants to do?
That's what I'm thinking about, because Chris Paul's never gotten that ring. I don't know. I talked to Coach Nick. I don't know if you watch his YouTube channel at all, B-Ball Breakdown, but he was talking about how Eric Bledsoe is holding the Bucks back, and if they had a traditional point guard like Chris Paul, that would be a definite championship team. So it was a really interesting conversation that I had.
I certainly would make the trade if I was the Bucks right now, probably. I just don't know if Oklahoma City, if that's the player they necessarily want to get.
Trying to get a shot before the buzzer, and they do. So not the most conventional way to end the game. I would have just tried to hold the ball and end the game, but they're going to win by 11 or 12 instead of 9.
I think that's the last thing the coach of Elk Grove wanted to see, especially the foul. I think she's saying, what are you calling a foul on that for? Just allow the game to end. But, great job by Buffalo Grove handling that trap. Like I said, I would say the coach of Buffalo Grove did a tremendous job tonight out of timeouts. Almost out of every timeout, they changed defenses, was a huge help for their team. Offensively, they were able to run something out of timeouts right there again. They handled the pressure and got themselves a layup.
So that does it for today's game. 16 points for Murray, 13 for Lee. Lee's team, the winner. Murray's the loser. 37-26. Final thoughts, Dave. I thought that Elk Grove played hard, but they just got to find ways to get the ball to other people to score besides Murray.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they didn't have enough contributions from other players as far as scoring points. They definitely were into this game defensively, played really good defense. And Buffalo Grove is a well-rounded team. Like you said, they have 5 seniors. And you look at the scoring, obviously Kendra Lee led them in scoring, but you see a bunch of 5s, 4s, 6s. They got contributions from a lot of players. That 3 by beginning of the fourth quarter, the difference was coming right out of the fourth quarter timeout. Kendra Lee hits a 3, and then on the next possession, Angelova hits a 3. Took the game from 4-10, and Elk Grove just didn't have enough offensive firepower to come back.
Coach Dave from Play Hard Hoops, you do a great job, and I think you might be taking Hubie Brown's job at ESPN one of these days. You do a great job on color commentary.
That would be a lot of fun one day.
So for Dave Edelman, Scott Mayer, Nick, and Beth Clem, I'm Kyle Smith signing off. Once again, final score 37-26 in favor of Buffalo Grove. We'll see you on the next production of Elk Grove Television Sports.